During the last video, I realized I was way too weak to take on bosses, so I started to train by going to this water temple and fight these skeletons and pick up some random loot. I discovered the water temple is flooded, so I found a secret passage that went to somewhere that wasn't. I found these lizard folks, and I really like chopping off their tails, so I started to chop off each one of their tails. More of their friends showed up, so they wanted their tails chopped too, so I went ahead and did that for them. After that, I picked up some loot, bronze gauntlets, and decided to explore the temple further. These mages were pissing me off because they hit me from range. I jumped across and managed to smack one into water, drowning, which is weird because they don't have lungs. After a little bit, I realized my pawns are stupid and one of them drowned in the water while I wasn't looking. Exploring the area, looting some more, I didn't realize I walked past a giant creature. I think they're called trolls, even though I think they look like ogres, but oh well. I went ahead and threw some oil on it, and then threw an explosive barrel on it, causing it to go up in flames. Then I decided to just poke at its legs until it tipped over, jumping on its face and slashing its neck. This creature was a lot easier than it was before, as I can clearly feel I'm getting a little stronger each time. I also wanted to try out tools I have and threw a dragon spite at him, which immediately blew his tusk off. But then I got hit. That did one-shot me. So I attempted again, a little bit worse this time as my pawns kept going down, but we did eventually get to defeat him. Next thing I did was an escort mission where I had to drag this witch to a healing spring. There was lots of stronger enemies this way. Honestly, I died multiple times to just these harpies. Each hit could almost one-shot me. And they also put me to sleep, which was very annoying because I would stay asleep a long time and they would just kill me. Eventually, after killing all of them, I decided I'm going to avoid these creatures during this quest and just get her to the healing spring. The same village with an alligator problem discovered a different sewer tunnel with more alligators, so I decided to pop each one of their tails off. After doing that, a big one came, the mama alligator, and I decided to pop hers and her baby's tails off as well. After adventuring, I decided to explore the countryside for a while, but instead, I got blinded by this smoke bomb, and I was blind for like 5 minutes. Eventually unblinding, I killed him. And I ran into a weird creature that I've never seen before, and it absolutely scared me. I decided to smack all of its glowing holes, as one should. Eventually bringing it down to its knees, I decided to smack its foot because I'm a feet guy. And destroying both its arms, because why not? It decided to shoot lasers at me for some reason, so I ducked behind some cover. I feel like it would have one-shot me with those lasers very easily. Almost being stomped on because I'm terrible at hitting things. I decided just to jump attack everything because two-handed weapons are great at just jump attacking. After one last breaking of its arm, my pawn finished it off by shooting it in the head with its arrow. And I really like its cool death animation, so I wanted to show it off real quick. While exploring, we found something called the Bloodwater Beach, which I thought was a very cool name. There was nothing cool or interesting about it, so, well, except for some loot that I got there. Upgrading my armor, I decided to explore more and ran into two, I'm going to call them ogres, because that's what I think they are. Ogres have one eye. Moving around them, avoid being seen. I discovered a ballista, which I would use against them very much so. First, I tested it out on some goblins. It seemed effective enough, so I decided to bombard each one of them ogres with as much ballistic fire as possible. I then discovered a feature called fire ballistas on these things, so I started just burning them alive by perpetually bombarding them with as much fire as possible. Eventually, I got seen by another ballista from across the map, and it kept shooting at me. I wondered what it was until I kept being hit by it, so I tried to shoot it back, but our bullets mid-air just kept colliding. Eventually, I made my way to the other side because I wanted to stop them from just destroying my ballista. Made my way and destroyed all the goblins here. Eventually getting on their ballista and finishing off at least one of the ogres. I started to focus fire on the other one, but its helmet kept getting in the way, so I had to get down there and get it to take off its helmet. And the only way I knew how to do that was to get on its back. As soon as it took off its helmet, I decided to shoot it again, this time repeatedly with the regular bullets, but then eventually I did switch over to the fire bullets, because they're just more effective. After killing this ogre and everything else I did today, I felt like I was strong enough to take on the troll in the underground once more. So I made my way through destroying the skeletons that were just a nuisance at this point. They weren't strong enough to hurt me, but there was just a shit ton of them. Like, my god. I couldn't tell you how many there were. I know I had a goal to kill 45 of them as like a quest reward. I completed that very early, and I still remember fighting maybe twice or 3 times the number than the goal I needed. It was just a lot of gold earned as well. Eventually, coming across the ogre, I decided to use one of my tools to set it on fire from the get-go. It just seemed to annoy him, but it immediately started going AWOL. Like, this thing just did not want to relent. I got punched in the face, and I gave him back with a deliverance. He picked me up, but my pawns immediately kind of broke me out of that. Thank God for them. It kind of just picked up one of our friends and started chewing on them. Luckily, I was there to break him out. The troll's a little worrying because, honestly, it just started doing a lot of different things than it did last time. It just kept swinging around violently. It just did not like me on its back. I thought I was going to fall off the cliff, so I had to jump off of it. Honestly, I was so worried about falling more than anything. It became extremely early, a lot earlier than last time, which was great for me. I tanked a drop kick. I got thrown around while on it. Luckily, didn't die. And as soon as it went down, it died. It was a lot easier than before. Like, so much easier. But our problems didn't end there. We made it to the bottom of the giant area we were in, and then these creatures popped out of the ground, which were nearly invincible. My pawns told me I needed to run, so that's what I did. I ran all the way to the top, avoiding all enemies, opening up all the gates I could. Eventually, I was smart enough to realize I don't need to run, I can just teleport with my last crystal, because I didn't want to die and lose all the progression I had at this point. But that is the end of the video. I want to thank you for watching, and next time we're going to be joining this wyvern hunt this guy's talking about. Please like and subscribe for more Dragon Dogma content because this game is awesome.